little effect and would not be significant. After the 9th level warrior, it would be the warlord. War King, also divided into 9 levels, if it can be increased by 10% or even 20%, for the War King, it is like a divine tool. I am just a 2nd level warrior. Even if I increase by 20%, I am still a 2nd level warrior, at most a 3rd level warrior. This thing, to me, is useless. Su Chen made a comment, so, it's better to sell this thing, yes, sell it. But, how much money is appropriate to sell it for? In this regard, Su Chen didn't have a clear idea, and he couldn't help but hesitate. Should I go ask Sister Lin? Before going to find Lin Zi, Su Chen first checked online. Surprisingly, there were reports online about this. But after reading them, Su Chen became even more confused, as the prices reported online were different, ranging from tens of thousands to tens of millions. So, I still don't know how much this thing is worth? Su Chen shook his head, didn't check further, called a ride-hailing service, and went straight to the Night Watcher branch. Lin Zi must be working at the Night Watcher branch now. Su Chen, why are you back? At the Night Watcher branch, Lin Zi looked at Su Chen in surprise. It had been almost an hour since Su Chen left. Why did Su Chen come back? Was he thinking of working? Lin Zi thought to herself. Sister Lin, can we find a place with no one around? Su Chen looked around and saw many people coming in and out of the Night Watcher branch. He didn't want to take out his underwear in public. Sure, follow me. Lin Zi took a deep look and then walked away. This is my office, no one here, and the soundproofing is good. You can say whatever you want. In an office, Lin Zi looked at Su Chen and said with a smile. Su Chen subconsciously looked around, then walked to the door to check outside. Seeing no one, he came back, took out his underwear, and said to Lin Zi, Sister Lin, I dug up. Bang! Before Su Chen could finish his sentence, he saw a long and fair thigh lift up and kick towards him fiercely. Damn! Su Chen cursed, quickly retreated, and appeared outside the door. In the corridor, everyone stopped what they were doing and looked over. Who is this new guy? Did he offend Captain Lin? I remember, Captain Lei seemed to have been treated like this by Captain Lin before. Not to mention Captain Lin, even Captain Zhang has been beaten. And our minister, I don't know what happened, was also kicked out of the office by Captain Lin. But this young man seems to have not been kicked. The crowd chattered, and Su Chen felt a little scared. What if he had been kicked? Su Chen re-entered Lin Zi's office, closed the door, and saw Lin Zi with her arms crossed, very guarded. Su Chen, you are my person, and you dare to act like a hooligan towards me? Lin Zi's face was cold, making people not dare to approach. Sister Lin, can you not be so impulsive? Listen to me first? Su Chen was a little angry. Lin Zi was really too impulsive. Wait a moment. Lin Zi took a deep look at Su Chen, walked out of the office, and the people outside dispersed. Lin Zi then came back, sat down with her arms crossed, and said to Su Chen, go ahead. Well, it's like this. When I left the branch earlier, I happened to dig up a treasure map, and then, I dug up a pair of underwear that is very suitable for the War King to use. Su Chen quickly explained, I am only a 2nd level warrior now, and my strength is too weak. This thing can increase the user's strength by up to 20%. I think it is not very meaningful to me. So, I want to sell it, but I don't know the price, so I came to ask Sister Lin first. Lin Zi's expression changed suddenly, then she smiled and stood up, supporting Su Chen to sit down. Why didn't you say so earlier? Look at how big the misunderstanding is now. Su Chen, won't you blame Sister Lin? No. Su Chen shook his head. If you can't win in a fight, what else can you do? Can it really enhance the user's strength by 20%? Lin Zi was more concerned about this, so she quickly asked. If worn outside the pants, it can enhance by 10%, if worn on the head, it can enhance by 20%. Su Chen replied. 20%, that's quite a significant enhancement. If it's useful in battles, it's considered a very good treasure. Lin Zi nodded, then took the underwear initiative and carefully sensed it. After a moment, she put down the underwear and said to Su Chen, "It really is. It's a pity, it's not suitable for me at all. Otherwise, I would have kept it." Lin Zi shook her head, feeling very regretful. Then she asked, "Su Chen, how much are you planning to sell it for?" "I don't know, that's why I came to ask Sister Lin," Su Chen said with a hint of grievance. Having gained nothing, he was truly feeling wronged after being kicked by Lin Zi. "Oh." Lin Zi pondered for a moment and said, "If this thing of yours is not underwear, but something else, it could easily sell for 5 to 6 million. But..." Lin Zi couldn't help but laugh. "The usage of this thing is too embarrassing, so forget about 5 to 6 million. Selling for 1 to 2 million would be good enough." 1 to 2 million? Su Chen, upon hearing this, was not disappointed. It was much better than he had expected. Moreover, with 1 to 2 million, wouldn't he be able to buy more treasure maps? When he digs up something good later, if he can't use it himself, he can sell it. Definitely a tearful but profitable deal, a sure win. After some thought, Su Chen suddenly asked, "Sister Lin, how much can I sell my dog head shears for?" "Dog head shears?" Sister Lin smiled and replied, "You can sell it for about 1 billion. Su Chen was shocked. Taking a sharp breath, the office suddenly became hot. "Are you selling it?" "If you are, I can help you get 1 billion right now," Sister Lin asked. "I'm not selling it." Su Chen shook his head. "I thought so too." Lin Zi was only envious, not greedy. She thought for a moment and said, "Since you want to sell that pair of underwear, Sister Lin will help you. Wait a moment, I'll call Captain Lei over." Lin Zi made a phone call. After a while, Captain Lei, the bald one, just pushed the door open. As soon as he came in, he saw Su Chen and couldn't help but boast, "Are you selling more treasure maps? 250,000 each, I'll take as many as you have." Su Chen swallowed hard. Captain Lei was indeed wealthy, willing to buy as many as he could at 250,000 each. Can a person really say such things? "Captain Lei, you're mistaken. This time there are no treasure maps." Sister Lin spoke first, smiling, "But there's something else." "What is it?" Captain Lei, the bald one, became interested and asked. "It's a treasure that can enhance the strength of a war king by 10% or 20%. Do you want it?" Sister Lin asked. "Really?" In that moment, Captain Lei's eyes sparkled as if emitting divine light, but soon he restrained his gaze and asked in doubt, "Such a good thing, you're not keeping it for yourself but selling it to me?" "I don't believe it." He wasn't stupid. Sister Lin was also a war king, with even more terrifying strength than him. If she had such a treasure, she would never sell it to him. "This thing is not suitable for me. Otherwise, would you buy it?" Sister Lin looked at Su Chen. Su Chen understood and immediately handed over the underwear he had dug up. Captain Lei hesitated for a moment, but seeing the serious expressions on Sister Lin and Su Chen's faces, he slowly reached out and took the underwear, carefully sensing it. After a moment, Captain Lei's eyes lit up, and he asked, "I'll take this thing." "Sister Lin, how much do you want for it?" Although the method of using this thing may seem a bit embarrassing, this thing can really enhance strength by 20%. Guantou Leigang hesitated for less than a second and immediately asked about the price. 5 million. Lin Zilian opened his mouth wide, shocking Su Chen next to him. "We agreed to sell it for only 1 or 2 million, but now you're asking for 5 million? Guantou Leigang's mouth twitched, he threw down his underwear and cursed, "Lin Zi, do you really think I'm stupid? If it were something else, it would naturally be worth 5 million. But it's not worth it. If I put it on my head, I will become the subject of ridicule. So, just tell me, how much?" Although Guantou Leigang was cursing, he didn't leave, making it clear that he actually wanted it. Su Chen and Lin Zi naturally saw through it. Moreover, the reason why she called Leigang was because she was confident that Leigang would not refuse. Just now, 5 million was just a test. What if Leigang was willing to pay 5 million? Now, Lin Zi saw the plan fail and smiled, saying, "We have been colleagues for many years, how can I really sell it to you for 5 million? Lin Zi pretended to think for a moment, then said, how about this, half price, 2.5 million to sell it to you. Captain Lin, are you indirectly insulting me? Lei Gang touched his bald head, which was shining brightly, and said, how about we have a fight first, then talk about the price? How much are you offering? Lin Zi frowned slightly. 150,000. Lei Gang said. 150,000, you go grab it. Lin Zi shook her head. 180,000, I can't offer more, sell it if you want, if not, forget it. Lei Gang's attitude was firm, he said, you know, I'm not short of money, I'd rather spend 5 million on other treasures, at least, no one will laugh at me. This. Lin Zi seemed to hesitate. After a while, she impatiently said, forget it, this is just you, Lei Gang, if it were someone else, I wouldn't even negotiate for less than 2 million. Lei Gang quickly picked up his underwear, turned to look at Su Chen, and asked, did you dig this out? Su Chen remained silent. It was Su Chen who dug it out. What do you want to do? Lin Zi looked wary. Su Chen, why don't you come to me, I'll take you to make a killing. Lei Gang grinned, for example, with this underwear, if you follow me, I'll just take 3 million, you'll earn an extra 1.2 million, isn't that great? Lei Gang, that's enough, trying to steal my thunder? Are you asking for a beating again? Lin Zi walked over, hugged Su Chen, and said to him, don't listen to his nonsense, they're all macho men, smelly all day long. If you follow Lei Gang, you'll end up just like them sooner or later. But if you follow me, it'll be different, I can protect you, make you smell good all over, and in the future, I can introduce you to potential partners. Su Chen struggled, wanting to leave the strong embrace, but Lin Zi's strength was too great, he couldn't break free at all. In the end, Su Chen had to reluctantly give up. Humph. Lei Gang glanced at him, snorted lightly, didn't try to persuade him anymore. When he was about to leave, he turned back, and said to Su Chen with a smile, Su Chen, you're welcome to come to me anytime. After Lei Gang left, Su Chen was finally released, he couldn't help but breathe heavily. Just now, it was soft, but he almost suffocated. Su Chen, you're not really going to Lei Gang's place, are you? Lin Zi asked with some concern. No, no. Su Chen immediately shook his head. Lei Gang's words sounded tempting, but if he really went, once or twice would be fine, but how could he keep giving him money every time? Does he really think Lei Gang is a fool? Everything has to follow market rules. Otherwise, there will be trouble. This is about right. Lin Zi pinched Su Chen's cheek, very happy. Ding dong. Su Chen's phone rang, and when he checked it, 1.8 million had been deposited. Now, there was a total of 1.9 million in cash on his phone. Lin Jia, I trouble you this time, this is a token of my appreciation, Su Chen said as he quickly operated his phone. Ding dong. Lin Zi's phone rang, and she saw a deposit of 300,000. Sender, Su Chen. What are you doing? Lin Zi was dissatisfied, just selling your underwear, do you need to give me a kickback? Besides, can my sister be short of your money? As she spoke, Lin Zi was about to transfer the money back, but Su Chen stopped her. Lin Jia, you must accept this money, otherwise, I won't be able to trouble you again in the future, Su Chen persuaded. Well. Lin Zi hesitated slightly, but in the end, she nodded helplessly, this is an exception. Okay. Su Chen nodded in agreement. Subtracting this 300,000, a pair of underwear could be sold for 1.5 million, in fact, the cost was only 200,000, plus the negligible cost of a round-trip taxi fare, making a profit of 1.3 million. It was simply too satisfying. Lin Jia, I have something else to do, so I'll leave first, Su Chen said. Okay. Lin Zi nodded, then reminded, make sure to read the book I gave you, in a few days, you will have to come here to work. Of course, you can also come directly to the branch to read, there is a library here with many books inside. Okay, I got it. Su Chen nodded, then bid farewell and left. After Su Chen left, Lin Zi couldn't help but show a satisfied smile, he's quite thoughtful, even knows to give me gifts. It's hard to imagine, Su Chen is only 18 years old. City First People's Hospital, room 666. Su Chen came again, carrying a box of milk, a box of nutritional drinks, and a box of fruits. After placing them all down, he looked at the fat man on the hospital bed and asked with concern, "How are you? Feeling better?" The fat man looked at Su Chen with some fear and asked, What are you here for?" "You're hospitalized. As a friend, I came to see you." Su Chen was a bit puzzled. "Then, why are you here again?" The fat man still looked fearful. "Here again?" Su Chen asked in confusion. "You just came this morning, and now you suddenly came again. It's hard for me not to think you have ulterior motives." The fat man was still very frightened. Hearing this, Su Chen carefully recalled, and then remembered that he did visit the fat man this morning. However, so much had happened today that Su Chen felt like it had been several days. For a moment, Su Chen felt a bit dazed, but after a while, he came to his senses and explained to the fat man, "I was confused, I've had too many experiences today, it felt like it's been days." "Okay." Su Chen nodded, then said, "I'll leave now, take care of yourself, and when you're feeling better, I'll come see you again. By the way, I'll need to buy some treasure maps from you then." Pausing, Su Chen hesitated and said, "This time I need 8 treasure maps, and I have the money ready." After Su Chen left, the fat man breathed a sigh of relief, somewhat relieved. "I almost thought he had other intentions, luckily, he just wanted the treasure maps." "Wait a minute, he suddenly wants to buy 8 treasure maps, does that mean he found something good?" The fat man suddenly felt very distressed. "Damn it! If I had gone to dig, that thing would have been mine." After regretting for a while, the fat man hesitated and whispered, "Should I go dig too?" The fat man was conflicted, should he go dig or not? If he really went to dig, the risk was too great. Even though he was now a warrior, there was still a significant risk. Yes, after Su Chen left in the morning, he became a warrior, although only a first-level warrior. After a while, Fatty closed his eyes and secretly told himself, "Forget it, I'll rest for a while. If I really dig out some dangerous things, with my small body now, I won't be able to run away. Now, I have money, but I don't have a treasure map." After leaving the hospital, Su Chen sighed and took a taxi directly home. In the apartment building E, room 808, where the night watchman's family lived, Su Chen came back and started reading Warrior Level 9, From Beginner to Mastery. The book was thick, and it would take more than a few days to finish reading it completely. Some of the content was profound, requiring more time to understand. As he was reading, suddenly the doorbell rang. Su Chen was surprised and thought, could it be Lin Zi coming back? He opened the door and was stunned to see no one but a big black dog standing outside, looking at him quietly. Before he could say anything, the big black dog squeezed in and went straight to the balcony, lazily basking in the sun. Su Chen, 6. This dog is so clever, it even knows how to ring the doorbell. Su Chen thought that maybe the big black dog was bored and decided to visit. Nowadays, even the offspring of the divine beast vermilion bird have appeared. A big black dog knowing how to ring the doorbell didn't seem too strange. After closing the door, Su Chen ignored the big black dog and picked up Warrior Level 9, From Beginner to Mastery to continue reading. The book gradually deepened Su Chen's understanding of the 9th level warrior. It also recorded the breathing technique created by the Dixia officials, which could help stabilize and enhance one's cultivation strength. In addition, there were various combat skills and secret techniques that a 9th level warrior could use. It turns out that the 9th level warrior is not as simple as I thought, it is really profound. The more Su Chen read, the more he felt his understanding of the 9th level warrior was lacking, giving him a sense of his own insignificance. These combat skills are special techniques for exerting force, similar to moving 1,000 caddies with ease. As for secret techniques, they are a bit complicated, requiring a certain price to be paid to use them, or they may cause serious consequences afterward without immediate cost. It's strange, I'm already a night watchman, why hasn't anyone taught me combat skills and secret techniques? As Su Chen read on, he suddenly became puzzled. Combat skills and secret techniques required instruction. While he could learn on his own, it would definitely take much longer. Shaking his head, Su Chen continued reading. But at that moment, the phone rang. It was Lin Zi calling, asking him to come to the branch immediately. Then the call ended. Is something wrong? She sounded urgent. Su Chen put down the book, got up quickly, and was about to leave when he remembered the big black dog. He walked over and asked, "I have to go to the branch, do you want to go home?" The big black dog lazily glanced at Su Chen and didn't bother to respond. "You are a real dog," Su Chen helplessly said. "I'm leaving, you stay here." After closing the door, Su Chen left directly. Once Su Chen was gone, the big black dog's ears twitched, confirming that Su Chen had gone far away. It then got up and leisurely wandered around the room. After a while, it found Su Chen's computer and turned it on. It needs a password?" The big black dog spoke, furrowing its brows slightly. There was a glint in its eyes, as if emitting a very special kind of fluctuation. In just 2 or 3 seconds, the password was cracked, and the computer entered the desktop. The big black dog manipulated the mouse, opened the browser, and checked the browsing history. Waiting online. This world is full of malice towards me, what should I do? What is a treasure map? How many levels are there for warriors? Why is it called the War King above the warriors? Why are there no chi refining, foundation building, golden core, nascent soul stages? What is the Night Watchman organization? Is there a great emperor sitting in it, possibly making decisions for eternity? The more the big black dog looked, the more shocked it became, its eyes widening as if finding it hard to believe. Could it be that Su Chen comes from the ancestral star? The big black dog thought to itself as it quickly cleared all the historical records. This is a secret. It's enough that it knows, but it can't let others know. Then, the computer shut down, everything returned to its original state. It went back to the balcony, continued to lie down lazily, basking in the sun. At the same time, Su Chen, on his way to the Night Watchman branch, stared at his phone, sweating profusely. This dog is not simple. It saw the browsing history of my computer. What should I do now? Su Chen exited the app, cleared all the browsing history on his phone. When he arrived at the Night Watchman branch, Su Chen regained his composure. When he saw Lin Zi, he smiled and asked, "Lin, what can I help you with?" "Here, these are 10 treasure maps awarded to you by the minister." Lin Zi took out 10 treasure maps. "Thank you, minister." "Thank you, Lin," Su Chen said happily. He thought he would have to wait until tomorrow, but unexpectedly, he was given the 10 treasure maps now. The minister is a good person. Also, considering your performance this time, the minister has specially approved your immediate promotion. Lin Zi smiled and said, "So, Su Chen, you are now a true night watchman. This is your new night watchman certificate, make sure to keep it safe and not lose it." After a pause, Lin Zi added, "Although you have been promoted, you still need to complete the training that an intern night watchman should do, not missing a single one. I will inform you when the training starts. Remember to report to the branch at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I will take you for some training." "All right, you can go now." After saying that, Lin Zi turned and left. She was busy and had no time to take care of Su Chen. Su Chen didn't mind, he left because he had something on his mind, so he walked back slowly, not in a hurry at all. Boom! Suddenly, as if an earthquake had occurred, the earth shook, and in the distant sky, a dazzling pillar of light shot up, sweeping across the sky. A terrifying force spread out, causing nearby buildings to shake. Bang! Su Chen saw a figure flying through the air at a speed that was astonishing. Isn't that Minister Li Xiao? Another figure flew by, with underwear on his head. Is that Captain Lei Gang with a bald head? Su Chen looked surprised. What's happening? Why is Captain Lei Gang wearing underwear on his head? This was a very embarrassing situation. Even if Lei Gang was prepared, he wouldn't have put it on his head immediately. The only answer was that something extraordinary had been unearthed, posing a great danger. Su Chen. Just as Su Chen was pondering, a figure landed. It was Lin Zi. You're here, something happened ahead, you need to come with me. Lin Zi picked up Su Chen and flew, asking, by the way, can your dog head scissors still be used? It can be used, but only once, Su Chen hesitated and quickly said, after one use, it won't be usable for a short period of time. As long as it can be used, you might need to use it this time. Lindsay said urgently as they flew. Someone used the treasure map and unearthed zombies. The number is too many to count at the moment. Most importantly, among the unearthed zombies, many zombie kings have appeared. Zombie kings? Su Chen was shocked, then asked, zombie kings comparable to the war kings? Exactly. Lindsay quickly said, ordinary zombies, no matter how strong they are, ultimately rely on instinct, without any intelligence. But the zombie king is different. Their intelligence is not inferior to ours humans, so they are quite terrifying. When we arrive later, you don't need to take action first. If we can't solve it, then we will need you to use the dog head scissors, or we will need you to kill the strongest zombie king. Su Chen nodded at the words. Since he joined the Night Watch, enjoying the treatment of the Night Watch, when it's time to take action, he must take action. Moreover, once he has made a contribution, he will definitely be rewarded with a treasure map. Soon, the two appeared on the rooftop of a building. Su Chen looked down and saw the entire street filled with zombies wearing strange clothes, spreading in all directions, occupying one area after another. In the center of them, a space emerged, as if it were another world, with a large army of zombies swarming out from inside. According to my observations, there are at least tens of thousands of zombies descending, and that's just the ones that have come out. As for the number inside that space, unknown. Lin Zi said with an unpleasant expression. Su Chen's expression was equally grim. He had just crossed over and had not become strong enough, but now he encountered a large army of zombies. Is this the coming of the apocalypse? Bang! The sky shook. Minister Li Shao held a long spear and nailed a zombie in midair. But in the blink of an eye, 7 or 8 zombies leaped into the air, and in an instant, they overwhelmed Li Shao. They can fly. They are not ordinary zombies, but zombie kings. Sizzle! A lightning bolt illuminated the sky, and Lei Gang, wearing only underwear, came down hard with a hammer. 2 flying zombie heads were smashed to pieces by him, but in the next moment, more zombies rushed up. Protect yourself, don't rush to take action. With so many zombie kings, there must be one that is the strongest, perhaps even in existence beyond the War King. Lin Zi looked for a while and whispered, your task is to find it, and then kill it. Lin Zi stood on the rooftop, put her finger in her mouth, and whistled. The big black dog came running from a distant rooftop and landed next to Su Chen. A purple battle armor appeared on Lin Zi, enveloping her entire body. A purple long spear appeared, tightly gripped in her hand. In that instant, Lin Zi exuded a heroic and charming aura. Protect Su Chen. Lin Zi said, leaving behind these words, then wielding the purple long spear, she instantly charged out. Puff! Lin Zi killed a zombie on the spot, but more zombies rushed towards her. Lin Zi fought alone against all directions, killing zombies left and right. However, among the zombie army, zombie kings kept rising into the sky, joining the battle. Buzz! Suddenly, a flash of knife light descended, killing hundreds of zombies on the spot. Captain Zhang, who dug out the baby vermilion bird, came with a knife and instantly fought with 7 or 8 zombie kings. Night watchmen quickly arrived from all directions and joined the battle. However, Su Chen saw that the number of night watchmen was too small to stop the zombie army. As for killing the zombies, in the face of their huge numbers, it seemed somewhat insignificant. At this rate, we'll be done for sooner or later. Su Chen thought to himself, should I run now? Yes. Su Chen wanted to run. If he could win, of course, he would fight, but if he couldn't win and still forced himself to fight, then he would be out of his mind. I'm just a mere second-level warrior, what can I do? I can't do anything. Su Chen was conflicted and uncomfortable. Bold zombies! How dare you descend upon my Tianhe city? Suddenly, a stern shout rang out. Su Chen looked in the direction of the voice and immediately saw a burly figure carrying a huge sound system flying towards them. That person looks to be around 30 years old, with thick eyebrows and big eyes, dressed somewhat shabbily. The passionate BGM blared from the speakers, echoing in all directions. Accompanied by the BGM, the newcomer seemed to be in a world of his own, instantly killing hundreds of zombies. Dozens of zombie kings rose up, rushing forward, but in the next moment, they were all sent flying out. Citizen Xiao dug out a speaker after using a treasure map. Su Chen recalled the news he had seen before, recognizing this person as surnamed Xiao. Suddenly, Su Chen sensed something and saw in another direction a young man coming with a woman in ancient attire. The young man's strength seemed average, but the woman behind him, holding a sword, with a flash of the sword, caused a large number of zombies to fall to the ground, never to rise again. 5 or 6 zombie kings pounced, but in the blink of an eye, the woman struck them down with a sword. They fell to the ground, dead beyond death. Citizen Duan dug out an ancient woman after using a treasure map, and has now obtained identification and household registration for the ancient woman. Su Chen remembered, this person should be surnamed Duan, and the woman behind him was the one dug out after using the treasure map. It was unclear from which era this person came, with unparalleled swordsmanship that no one could match. Su Chen felt envious. When will I be able to dig out such a beautiful and powerful woman? Maybe she could even be my wife. Boom! Suddenly, a huge chessboard descended from the sky, covering hundreds of zombies. On the chessboard, the zombies turned into chess pieces and began to fight each other. Among them, there were even zombie kings. They tried to break free from the chessboard, but the chessboard was like the heavens and the earth, trapping them within. Citizen Su dug out a chessboard after using a treasure map, and Su is trapped inside. The night watchman has organized a rescue operation. Su Chen speculated that the owner of this chessboard should be surnamed Su, who was previously trapped inside but should have been rescued by now. With the arrival of strong individuals from Tianhe City, the situation was immediately brought under control. No matter how many zombies there were, they were not enough to kill. Suddenly, Su Chen's sharp eyes caught sight of a zombie moving rapidly within the zombie army. When it reached Minister Li Xiao, the zombie suddenly leaped up, emitting a terrifying power that shook the sky. Why haven't you beheaded it yet? Lindsay spoke first, her voice reaching Su Chen's ears. Su Chen's spirits lifted, knowing that it was the strongest zombie king. Immediately, Su Chen's voice resounded like a bell, come. Behead it. With Su Chen's voice, the earth trembled, and the guillotine flew out. At the same time, 4 illusory figures appeared, 2 of them heading straight for the strongest zombie king. The opponent was immensely powerful, invincible in the realm of battle kings. But at this moment, they were forcibly held back by the 2 figures and dragged towards the guillotine. One person placed a basin in front of the guillotine, and the last person raised the guillotine's blade. The strongest zombie king struggled violently, trying to break free, but to no avail. Below, several zombie kings quickly leaped up, trying to stop the 4 illusory figures. But as soon as they approached, they were severely injured and sent flying. Finally, the strongest zombie king was placed under the guillotine. Execute it. Su Chen felt extreme shame in his heart, but his voice was as loud as a bell and resounding. No! The strongest zombie king's eyes were filled with fear, pleading, I was wrong, don't kill me. Not only was it terrified, but the remaining zombie kings were also very afraid. They are fearless, not afraid of death at all, but for some reason, they are filled with boundless fear towards this dog-head guillotine, as if the dog-head guillotine is not just about killing them. Vaguely, it saw a black face with a crescent moon on the forehead. Behind it, there seemed to be 4 golden characters of bright mirror high hanging. Puff! The guillotine fell. The strongest zombie king, head rolling. For a moment, the whole place fell silent. Everyone, all the zombies, looked at Su Chen in shock. Too strong. Really too strong. Even Li Xiao, who had witnessed the power of the dog-head guillotine once, still found it hard to believe seeing it again. Directly killing a zombie king, can Su Chen, a second-tier warrior, really do this? Suddenly, a piercing sound came from the mouths of the zombie kings. From all directions, all the zombies suddenly rioted, turning their heads and looking up at Su Chen. Then, fearlessly, they rushed towards the building where Su Chen was. Some zombies entered the building, running up the stairs, while others climbed the walls, scaling the outer walls of the building. In just a few seconds, the building where Su Chen was located was surrounded, zombies from all directions. The number was terrifying. It was as if Su Chen had poked a hornet's nest, and all the zombies had targeted him. Even some zombie kings abandoned their targets and came straight for Su Chen. Take him away. Lin Zi shot and killed a zombie king, then shouted anxiously. The big black dog, upon hearing this, lifted Su Chen up, and when Su Chen landed, he sat firmly on its back. With a leap, it jumped onto the rooftop of another building. Clatter. The zombies saw Su Chen leaving, and they fell from the previous building like dumplings, landing on the ground and immediately chasing after Su Chen. We're in trouble. Su Chen couldn't help but say, using the dog head guillotine, I have no strength left in my body, now I'm just like an ordinary person. Su Chen looked back and saw that the ordinary zombies were not as fast, but several zombie kings were chasing at an extreme speed. Suddenly, the big black dog stopped, extended its paw, and opened a car parked on the side of the road. It signaled for Su Chen to drive away, and without any hesitation, it rushed back. Its speed was too slow, sooner or later it would be caught up, so instead of that, it was better for Su Chen to leave first, while it stayed behind to cover. Damn! They think highly of me. Without the car keys, how can I drive? Su Chen cursed, got off, and saw a shared electric bike parked nearby. He took out his phone, scanned the code, and immediately rode off. Despite killing the strongest zombie king, his own strength was really not strong. A second-tier warrior. Moreover, he had no power left in his body now, similar to an ordinary person. Not to mention the zombie king, Su Chen couldn't even beat ordinary zombies. So, running first was the best choice. Fortunately, there was the big black dog covering the rear, otherwise, Su Chen knew he was doomed. This is because of my lack of strength, otherwise, I would kill you all. Glancing back at the approaching zombie kings, Su Chen said fiercely. Suddenly, Su Chen felt a connection in his heart. He reached out his left hand, and instantly, 2 treasure maps appeared out of thin air, falling into his palm. Ha! Su Chen widened his eyes, is this a reward from heaven? After a moment of contemplation, Su Chen understood that because he had killed the strongest zombie king, he had received a reward from heaven. I am at odds with the zombies. As a guardian of the night, my duty is to protect the country, safeguard the people. Su Chen turned around and looked fiercely at the several zombies attacking the big black dog, gritting his teeth and saying, you wait for me, I'm going to dig up the treasure map now. When I find the treasure, I'll kill you all. The shared electric scooter sped up, and in just 3 minutes, Su Chen arrived at his destination and took out a treasure map, focusing on it. Here is sealed a pill, swallow it, and you can quickly restore the power in your body. Golden words appeared. Su Chen saw the prompt, without any hesitation, immediately used the treasure map. A space appeared. Su Chen reached out, grabbed the pill inside, and without thinking, swallowed it directly. The pill melted in his mouth. The power in Su Chen's body was already depleted, but in that instant, the power was instantly restored. And even more power emerged, giving Su Chen a